Hello friends and subscribers. Haven't made a video in a long time because life just gets busy. So I think the last time I made a video I was still stuck at home with my back injury, and since then I've had back surgery and I am back to work again. And this area that I'm walking through is property my family owns in rural Virginia, and I am staying here while I am working a new job. And that's the house I'm standing right there by myself. Very, very sad, but it's a nice place to stay. This is an old tobacco farm, and the owner, previous owner, I say previous because he's no longer with us, was my grandfather by marriage. My stepmother, her stepfather. So it's a lot of steps here, but he owned this whole like 90-acre parcel right here. There's a pond right below, right where the trees are. It's a nice little place. I'll walk down there. But there's even more, like another 140 acres across the road. I think there's, well, I was told, there's 5 parcels altogether. The total's over 400 acres. But the story is, Roy, he was the man who owned the land. He grew up here, and they were tobacco farmers, his family. And then somewhere in the 80s, the government came and paid them not to grow tobacco anymore. So Roy spent the rest of his life playing golf and enjoying himself and acquiring more property. So this is the result of it, and I get to stay here, which is nice, isn't it? Sunset's over there. Back that way is Lynchburg, just to give you an idea of whereabouts I am. Lynchburg is 30 miles where the sunset is, that way. A little bit north too. But anyway, I was sitting at the house, waiting for the sun to go down. I thought I'd take a little walk through the fields, see what there is to see. Since I've been here, I've only seen one coyote. I haven't seen any deer, even though there's deer tracks all over this field I'm walking through. And I hear I have seen wild turkeys, but not here. I've seen them down the road. I'm working a job. We're building a fiber optic internet system throughout this county. And so I see a lot of land during the day. And it's a beautiful place. This whole county is so pretty. But it's very, very run down because there's no industry. And there's a lot of properties here that are abandoned because people have died and nobody wanted the land, and it's just sitting there. I mean, I've seen houses, old farmhouses that used to be beautiful, and now they're just falling apart. Kind of sad. I do know, though, that a lot of people, especially some younger people, are taking up the homesteading mantle, and they're buying land out here pretty cheap and setting up a little off-grid homestead with goats and chickens and bees and cattle, and pioneering it, which I totally applaud, because that needs to happen. We're in perilous times, and we need to be more resourceful, so to speak. So I'm gonna turn right around real quick so you can see how pretty this place is. So pretty. Look at that. All these fields. There's a house again. I won't be able to show you the whole place on this video because it would take too long. But we'll just go through the little gap here and see what there is to see. So maybe there'll be some deer in the field. I don't know. But I have, since I last spoke on this here video thing, I have became an ordained minister. Don't have a church. I'm not like a pastoring preacher, but I got an ordination because I wanted to be able to perform religious ceremonies such as marriages and funerals and baptisms, things like that. And the reason I have done that is because if anybody knew me 10, 15 years ago, they wouldn't know me now. My life changed tremendously. And I hit rock bottom, really. My rock bottom was a lot softer than some, but everybody's got their own version of rock bottom. And mine was pretty rough, but it could have been worse. But after I decided that life was worth living, I decided to pick myself up and get on with life. And I did. I let the toxicity between me and former associates go. And I dedicated my life to being a better man, better father, and eventually became a better husband because I found an awesome wife who is very supportive of me, and we have a great marriage. Matter of fact, we are writing a book together, chronicling our individual stories and then intertwining it with our together story. What got us to this point, you know? And so I'm writing my part right now, letting Jennifer write her part. I'll probably help her with it. Then we're going to do our story together. So I've written a lot of it, but it's painful to relive the past some, but I think it's necessary at times to help other people. I have, my past was ugly, and I don't ever want to go back to it again, but it's helpful in this regard to help other people who might be in similar situations. And I'm so far past it now that it doesn't bother me emotionally anymore like it would have 5 or 6, 7 years ago. So I'm doing that as a means to be helpful. I want to be helpful, you know. That's where I'm at with life. I just want to be helpful to people, make friends, foster good relationships with people, and just be as helpful as I can be. And this place is beautiful. It's a great time of day too. I tell you what, Southern Virginia does not get the credit it deserves. This place is just fantastic. And I'm in Halifax County. There's a lot of Amish people up here. There's a lot of logging that goes on up here and farming, and that's about all they got. And it's just fantastic. This is March. This is late March 23. And I'm right now standing in the middle of what used to be acres and acres of tobacco. Good God, can you imagine how much tobacco is grown here? I mean, this is just, I've walked through 2 fields. There's lots more. If you look over that way, you probably can't see it. There's another field through the trees. And then beyond those trees, way back there, there's another big parcel of field. And this is the smallest portion of the farm. Like literally across the road, there's 140 acres. Okay, there's an old house out there. There's 2 old houses. And my, let's call her my step-grandmother, she survived Roy, and she had that land across the road timbered several years before she died. And you can see a bunch of old tobacco barns that just got swallowed up in the woods. There's still a whole lot of lumber. Like when they come and timber it, you'll see all the debris they leave behind, and it's tons and tons of like wood over there that's just left there to rot. So, but what's happened is you can see how much land is there, and there's an old house that just showed up right there in the middle of it that probably haven't been lived in since probably in the last 60 or 70 years, and a bunch of old tobacco barns. So it's really pretty. Maybe I'll do a video there tomorrow if I get home from work in time. Well, this is a really cool place. Now that we got daylight savings time, I get more daylight to explore this place. But yeah, here's even more. Look at this. I mean, I think this parcel I'm staying at right now is like 90 acres, if I'm not mistaken. I've got the prints in the house. It's super quiet at night. This place is it's fantastic. I would live here if didn't have a home elsewhere. You know, it's a great place to live. And I've seen from the areas I'm working in, I have seen several locations where they're definitely off-grid homesteads, people living in RVs, and they'll have little round pens full of goats, chickens running around the yard. They're off-grid, they're using solar panels, and I totally applaud that. I mean, we are in unprecedented times in this country, and let's say from the baby boomers to Gen X, which is my group, to the millennials, we really screwed things up. I mean, we didn't mean to. We took the success of the World War II generation and made a great country, great life, and we got fat, happy, and lazy. That's what we did. And so now you got kids who they don't know what to do. They don't know how to be. They don't know how to do anything that is not electronic. You know, it's just sad. So my generation, I knew my grandparents very, very well. They grew up during the Depression. They grew up during hard times. I learned a lot from them. My grandparents canned vegetables. They had gardens every single year. They didn't use credit for anything. They saved their money. They lived frugally. And then when I was young, my parents got into the credit game because that's just the way things were. And, you know, easy money got pumped into the system, but that money's based off of nothing. It's just fake money, which is what you're seeing now with the credit problems and the banking issues. That's what happens at the tail end of a fiat dollar system. So that's why a lot of these kids today, I have hope for the future, because a lot of these, what they call them Gen Zs, they're in their early 20s now, they're seeing the light. I got a kid I work with, he's 22 years old, Air Force veteran. He left the Air Force when they mandated the jab. He refused to take it and went down to Houston, Texas, and worked as a utility locator for about a year. Saved up a lot of money, worked a lot of overtime, saved his money, found 25 acres of land in this county right here, right down the road from me, about 10 miles from me right now. Paid cash for it, bought an RV, paid cash for it, got him some solar panels, and he's got himself a little homestead. And he's slowly just building it up. And he's got plans for having livestock, and he's got timber he can sell. His family thinks he's crazy. I think he's a genius, because that's what it's going to take to rebuild society. You know, you can't do it all at one time, because it certainly didn't get wrecked at one time. But he's like a lot of them that are doing this. So I applaud that. I'm kind of walking back now. I am a little bit out of breath because I worked all day long and I walked a lot today, and so I'm just tired. But it seems to me, my family members who own this estate, I'm just managing it. I don't own it. I'm managing it. They rent these fields out to a local farmer who, if I'm not mistaken, grows soybeans. And I am walking through a lot of tall grass right now, as you can see, and I keep crunching certain things. I think are soybean stalks from last year. But if you look, this is all like grass, like fescue grass. I don't know, because I'm not a farmer. But he hasn't planted anything yet. Of course, it's still kind of early, but I've started to see some people plowing or tilling up their land. So he's got all these fields and a parcel across the road to work with. So good for him. I think land is rented for about $30 an acre up here, so it pays for the taxes on the property. There's a little pond. It's getting kind of dark. I can still walk down there to check it out. I'm told that there's no more fish in this pond because it was all fished out and nothing was managed properly, so it makes sense. And I keep looking out here every single day to see deer. I don't see any. I have not seen a deer here yet, but I know they're here because when I drive to work in the morning, it takes me 10 or 12 miles to get to the main highway, and I pass by deer all the time, so I know they're here. I just don't see them. I've seen a few trees out here that have rubs on them from last year, but no deer as of yet. But straight ahead where I'm walking this way on the other side of the pond, I've got a great spot for a deer stand. You can look and see the pond and everything where I'm standing right now really, really well. Let's check that out sometime. There's a dock over there too. It's a floating dock, and it broke loose, and now it's just sort of stuck over there in the corner. And I'm told by my neighbor across the road that there are beavers in this pond, and I was asked to dispose of them if I see them. So maybe I'll set a trap for them. Who knows? Just take a little walk down here and see what we got to see. I'm talking so loud, and any wildlife's gone from now, but we will look anyway, just for the eye candy of it all. I got some future videos. Hold on a second. Over there is like I'll call that the dam. Okay, if I walked on the other side, you would see water leaking over the side, but it goes down to the woods somewhere. So we got all this to look at. You can see right there's the dock that's floating around, and then there's the rest of the pond. I need to stock this thing with some fish, huh? There's something swimming right there. I don't know what it is. It's under the water. But it's actually swimming towards me. It's a freaking beaver, I think. Holy crap. I'm gonna stand right here and watch and see if it's a freaking beaver. It absolutely is a beaver right there. And it has no idea I'm here. And here I'm just talking. And it's swimming towards me. Wow. Look at that. Check that out. Now watch this be like a rabid beaver. He's gonna come and bite me. Nope. Now he's swimming away. There he went. How about that? Okay, it's Mr. Beaver. Okay, well, maybe I'll come here with a shotgun and blast his ass. Who knows? That's pretty cool. Okay, let's leave the beaver alone. Alright, well, he just slapped the water again. Oh, that's great. Well, okay, well, confirm one beaver. Where there's one beaver, there's two beavers. How about that? So anyway, we're walking back towards the house. There's several little groves of trees like I'm in right now around this property. This place looks ideal for deer hunting, if I ever saw any. But maybe I'll come up here in the fall and hunt something. Who knows? But anyway, what I was going to say in the beginning when I took this little hike is that I want to start doing some more Bible studies on here like I did last year, because I've got topics that a lot of people wouldn't touch, and because I'm not a pastor of a church with corporate bylaws and government protection, I say whatever I want to say. And I'm pretty harsh when it comes to the corporate church, what I call the government-approved church, which is like 95% of all of them. And what I want to do is talk about things that a lot of things are in the Bible that aren't talked about that are relevant, you know, because we got to where we are in society through a lot of different channels. One of them being the fact that we're fat, happy, lazy Americans who haven't really dealt with a lot of adversity in life. And so maybe tomorrow I'll go across the road to the other farm and talk about something. I got some ideas in mind, but I need to read over the passages of scripture before I do, so I don't sound like a moron. But that's what I'm trying to do. I like to talk, and I got 55 subscribers, which is fantastic for me. It's like having a small congregation, and I know a lot of you came here to hear me talk about the time I spent on the silent drill team in the Marine Corps, and I said pretty much all I can say about that. I mean, I guess I could revisit it sometime, but other than just telling stories about stupid stuff we did, doesn't seem to be a whole lot of reason to relive that. But maybe I will. You know, I'm so far removed from the Marine Corps. It seems just like it was over 30 years ago, you know, and I'm just kind of not that guy anymore. There are two fellow brother Marines that I still keep up with, but for the most part, everybody's living their own life. Everybody's got their own experience to live, and this is mine. And how cool is this? I get to walk through an old tobacco farm and just talk to the whole world, whoever wants to tune in and listen. And so, hope you've enjoyed my little tour. I'm gonna go back to the house. It's darker than the camera lets on. The camera's deceptive. It's a lot darker than when I look through the screen. But anyway, I would say sorry it's been such a long time, but I doubt anybody really is waiting with bated breath to hear me talk. I do have some things I want to say, talk about. Maybe we'll talk about moonshine or cigars or something cool and manly, you know. But I have some things I want to discuss that come from the Word of God and that I think are relevant, especially for the time we're living in. So thanks for listening, and I'll talk with you real soon.